The world is very ancient, and human origins are mysterious and obscure. We try to decipher our past based upon the multiple layers of civilizations whose ruins lay strewn across the planet like pieces of an archaic jigsaw puzzle. Deep in our racial memory or collective consciousness lurks the legends and myths of lands and continents that once existed. Fabulous stories abound of advanced cultures with their arts and technologies that have risen to great heights and then fallen back into the dust of history once again. Who today really reflects about our true history and ancient past, preoccupied as we are in a busy world trying to survive? In our current fifth root race, there has been achieved a perfection, refinement, and quintessential expression of the concrete mind. Although this has brought many benefits in science and technology, its shadow expression via the critical mind tends to be separative at the expense of the love principle. The lower mind only functions through the 5 tangible senses. In the coming Aquarian cycle, the secret sciences will blend more fully with mainstream science. The 6th sense, or intuition, is in its early stage of development, hence perception of the more subtle aspects of human evolution, such as the aura, chakras, and the invisible forces behind nature, is still limited, unrecognized, and unrealized by the majority. With regard to our history, there are many crystallized belief systems that influence current world thinking. They are compounded by an unquestioning and undiscriminating acceptance under the authority of modern science or religion. Likewise, history tends to stay in a straitjacket of conformist, consensus thinking that excludes any other viewpoints. This is changing, however, almost imperceptibly, as inquirers from many disciplines are questioning existing viewpoints of the status quo. They are uncovering more and more evidence that will continually transform current thinking. There is one boundless, immutable principle, one absolute reality, which antecedes all manifested conditioned being. It is beyond the range and reach of any human thought or expression. The manifested universe is contained within this absolute reality and is a conditioned symbol of it. Our planet and the whole cosmic scheme, with its suns, constellations, galaxies, and attendant planets, are part of one great cosmic plan whereby ever-increasing expansion of consciousness occurs. The spiritual path is one of forever peeling back layers of illusion, and the mystery of human evolution is one of the greatest secrets yet to be fully revealed. What is our purpose as spiritual monads to embark upon such a long journey through all the kingdoms? Part of the answer to this mystery is to evolve and grow, and to bring evolution upon earth to perfection. We can see, therefore, the inseparability of ourselves from the great Creator and all kingdoms in nature.
It's important for humanity to understand their true origins because we really don't know. Most people do not think about history. They have a vague sort of idea that we came from somewhere, came from apes usually. This is what is taught in high school. And we evolved from apes somehow into human beings.
Currently, in educational institutions, a 5,000 to 10,000 year history of the human race is taught, and that it evolved from apes. Humanity, however, has a much more divine and ancient pedigree. In our current fifth root race, there is an accent upon the perfection of the lower mind, somewhat to the exclusion of the more subtle senses of the intuition and the inner wisdom. Hence, we must be careful not to interpret ancient texts, symbols, and statues literally or too materialistically, especially if we lack an understanding of the subtle constitution of man. The ancients were far more poetic and artistic in their expression of the inner secrets. Many phenomena can be speculated to have origins beyond our Earth, and indeed, there are some who look entirely through this prism. Yet many phenomena, if not most, are generally generated within the Earth due to the law of cause and effect, or karma, and the rectification of natural laws and principles which govern Earth life. World Wars I and II are subjectively regarded as one war, a recapitulation of the ancient Mahabharata conflict, with the same forces ranged against each other, the so-called Lords of the Dark Face versus the Lords of Shining Countenance.
So it's important to understand today that we are in a third phase of the World War. It currently exists in the mental plane, but depending on humanity's choice, it could go to the physical plane as it did in World War I and II. World War I and II are regarded esoterically as one war and as a recapitulation of the Atlantean War, where the same forces were ranged on both sides. And this time, in World War I and II, the forces of light triumphed. The door where evil dwells, quote unquote, was sealed. But in the last 70 years since World War II, that door has drifted ajar somewhat, and the forces of materialism have refined and consolidated their position even more. So now we have this third phase of the World War that is raging upon the mental plane in terms of the world of ideas, ideologies, and so forth. But the point of least resistance, as it always has been for humanity, is to work it out on the physical plane through sheer force, is the power of the will in its lower aspect. This planet has fallen way behind in its evolution. It should be at the same status as Venus, we're told in the Ageless Wisdom teachings.
The war between these opposing forces of materiality and light still rages upon the mental plane, as humanity finds its way through the darkness before the dawn, toward the approaching Aquarian cycle, reminding us of William Blake's immortal words, "I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand." As a result of events that transpired at the end of the last World War, it is said that the great avatar known in the East as Maitreya and in the West as Christ will return again soon to walk amongst humanity.
The hierarchy have planned to externalize amongst humanity once again for the first time in about 3 or 4 million years. So we are really living in extraordinary times. The forces of materialism know this, are aware of this fact, and are fighting tooth and nail to keep the status quo the way it is, so that the forces of light do not manifest. So we are really emerging from a period of control by the forces of materialism, despite the fact that many thousands of people have reached liberation since that time. But overall, the planet has been in control by those forces.
Forms, whether they are land masses or humans, come and go. But the consciousness remains and moves forward. It is the soul's evolution toward liberation that is the most important factor. The sixth root race is where the intuition will be developed, and will express itself through the qualities of the heart and right human relationships. The Aquarian cycle will be an age of science, exoteric and esoteric, where the universal spiritual laws will come into a much closer alignment with our earthly laws, and a period of peace could well reign in the new Satya Yuga or Golden Age.